Hello there, and welcome to the Robert H. Wilde True Crime Show. This is our first episode, and I do need to give a little bit of a content warning. This is a true crime show, so although we will be discussing many different types of crimes, there are a lot of murders, assaults, and generally nasty things. There will be no visual images or visual graphic content, but there will be me talking about it. So that might not be something you want to. This current case does have a bit of that in it. Sometimes we do robberies or heists or mysterious stuff, but today, I think there's a definite warning for this one. So what we're going to discuss today for our first episode is the betrayal of Jamie Faith. So, by 2020, Jennifer and Jamie Faith had met, married, and moved into a suburban area of Dallas called Oak Cliff. It was a peaceful, neighbourly place, and the couple was seen as a happy match. Jamie had once had a reputation that he didn't want to settle, but that changed his mind when he met Jennifer. They got together, and he adopted her daughter. It had been 15 years together, and they were settled. He was a technology director at American Airlines, and she was a speech therapist. And as far as anybody knew, everything was fine. On October 9th, 2020, the couple left the house to walk their dog, as they normally do, and a man appeared. He was dressed in black, he had a blue face mask. He appeared from around the corner, walked over, and shot Jamie 9 times at point-blank range, including once in the groin, which you'll see why shortly. He then started to duct tape Jennifer and steal her rings. However, a neighbour who'd heard the murder came running out with a gun, and the attacker fled before any more damage could be done. In an interview with the police, Jennifer explained, "I turned around and I just saw this person shoot and shoot. I couldn't believe. I didn't know him. Like why? A lot of shots, 5, 6 maybe, I feel like. And he just kept going, and I'm like, stop it." The fact Jennifer said that is going to become very odd later on. She also said that she was devastated, teetering between completely heartbroken and completely devastated. Sadly, Jamie was killed instantly and was laying on his driveway at that point. The neighbours did what they could in the aftermath to support Jennifer. Firstly, they helped her as the police arrived. Then they took turns cooking meals, walking the dog as she was scared to go out. They started a GoFundMe that raised thousands and thousands of dollars, all to support her in her time of need. Jennifer couldn't tell the police much beyond it was a man dressed in black. It had all happened so fast. But a neighbour was able to remember that the man drove off in a black pickup which had a sticker of a T on the back. Jennifer also appeared on the news whenever asked, asking people to help out. The whole neighbourhood was in shock. Nothing like this happened in this area, and nobody had any idea who would want to basically execute Jamie in broad daylight. The neighbours all formed a group to support each other, and Jennifer introduced a friend of hers to it, who was a military veteran, who said perhaps the fact this assailant had emptied the whole clip into Jamie meant the attacker was also a military veteran. And then for a while it felt like the police investigation was going nowhere as far as everybody in Dallas knew. And here's the first of 2 major twists. The police suddenly announced they'd made an arrest. And the arrested man, Darren Lopez, had a black truck with a recently removed T sticker. But he lived in Tennessee, thousands of miles away, and he was arrested in Tennessee. And everybody thought, well, why has he come out all the way to Dallas? What's going on? So the police had not been sitting about. They'd followed a trail. They had worked out that Darren, who was a former Green Beret medic, had been honourably discharged from the army after being injured in an explosion in Iraq. He had survived, but with damage to his eyes and brain, as well as PTSD, and in the same event, 19 of his colleagues had been killed. So he was really struggling. He'd split with his wife. He decided he would reach back to life before the army, and specifically, he wanted to reach back to his high school girlfriend, who he'd lost touch with after signing up. So he reached out on social media. He told her he wished his life had been different, and she replied. It was Jennifer. It turned out that Jennifer was not, in fact, in a happy marriage, and sent her Darren contact details. They talked long and frequently, their exchanges becoming intimate and then sexual. They talked for months, and their sex fantasies developed into BDSM and all sorts of things. But Darren was really reluctant to meet and go further and break up this marriage. Then Jennifer told Darren why it was an unhappy marriage. She explained that Jamie was a domestic abuser, mistreating her emotionally and physically. Darren was livid, and their contact escalated. It turned into over 500 messages a day, which I'm sure even for people with kids texting all the time, you can appreciate the sheer quantity of effort required to do that. Jennifer started referring to a friend that she was having an affair, although they hadn't actually met at this point. Then things developed because Darren started getting messages from Jamie. Jamie had discovered what was going on and first told Darren to stop. Darren said he's not going to abandon Jennifer to an abuser, so Jamie escalates things. He sends Darren photos of him punishing Jennifer for this affair. Jennifer covered in cuts and bruises, beaten, raped. So Darren says to Jennifer, go to the police, you've got to go to the police, you've got to sort this out. But she says she can't do that to her daughter, she can't have her daughter's father arrested. And she also told him she would just say, if you report this, I'm going to deny everything because they're never going to believe me and I'm not going to ruin anything. She also started to tell Darren the only way I'd get out of this is if Jamie were killed. So, one day, Jamie tells Darren that he'd had Jennifer gang raped as a punishment and was going to drown her. Darren, perhaps understandably, snaps, gets in his truck, drives thousands of miles, waits 5 hours outside the house, and then executes Jamie and shoots him in the groin before Jennifer can be harmed anymore. He then returns back to Tennessee. Jennifer is thrilled to be saved. The GoFundMe raised £60,000. She's expecting a £629,000 life insurance payment when the police finish, and she starts sending some of it to Darren. Gift cards, presents, entire credit cards paid for by the charity account. She actually says, I think the Visa has like $35,000 limit. I pay them off every month, so you never need to worry about them being declined. She also calls the police to say, why haven't they cleared her yet, because she can't get her money in. And Darren is also the vet who is invited into the group chat where the killer is talking to all the neighbours about who the killer might be. The police are searching around in the aftermath of this murder. So to protect Darren, Jennifer deletes everything about him off her phone. The police take the phone to search, as they would. She's deleted all the messages. And she also gets in contact with Darren to tell him to take the T sticker off the truck. Her message reads, I woke up in a bit of a panic. Something is eating away at me, telling me you need to take the sticker out the back window of the truck. I don't normally overreact like this. Really think you need to take the sticker off ASAP like today. And when told it was done, she says, oh yay. But she did not delete the text to her friend saying she had the affair, which is how the police found Darren, find his addresses in the phone, and discover the whole thing. So they find Darren, his van, access his bank and cell records, and can trace his entire journey to Texas and back via purchases and CCTV cameras. They arrest him on January the 11th, 2021, and he hasn't wiped his phone as per Jennifer's instructions, and the gun is still in his house. They find everything. And it looks like an open and shut case. But it wasn't. Because although Darren did kill Jamie, he was completely surprised by what else the police found. Because Jamie hadn't beaten or raped or abused Jennifer. He hadn't known about the affair. He'd never harmed her in any way. He'd never mistreated her. Jennifer, bored of her husband, had faked the entire thing to Darren so he would kill Jamie. She faked photos of injuries. Sometimes she just downloaded stock images of injuries off the internet and sent them to him. She faked the messages. Jamie telling him that she'd been harmed all the time was just her messaging. When Darren pleaded with her to go to the police, she said it wouldn't work because she wanted Jamie killed. She wanted the insurance, she wanted rid of him. So she manoeuvred Darren into a place where he would snap and feel that the only thing he could do was to kill. Asked by prosecutors later on how he felt about this, he replied, it wasn't like on a mission in the military, but I was on the same type of mindset. I had to do what I had to do to protect my Jennifer. At the time, I was thinking I was a noble soldier that did my job. Did what I was trained to do. I protected people. I kept them from a monster. So Jennifer is arrested and charged with murder. At first, she tries to keep the charade up, sending messages to Darren saying, I've never lied to you, I've never sent you emails, and tries to get a third party to pass on messages. And Darren is so enmeshed in this, believes her so much, loves her so much, that it takes his lawyers 6 months before they can actually get Darren to realise that he killed someone that had done nothing. And then he's devastated. He's absolutely sick and devastated, and he starts working with the police and doing everything he can. So Jennifer Faith is charged with murder for hire, which could have got her the death penalty, but she took a plea deal. She's convicted and she's sentenced to life in prison. She also had to pay Jamie's funeral expenses and a £250,000 fine. GoFundMe, where these funds had come into, offered everyone a full refund. Everyone who donated got their money back. Darren, however, pled not guilty, testifying he believed he was saving Jennifer from abuse, and he now felt agony that he'd killed an innocent man. Nevertheless, he did kill him, and he's convicted of murder and given 62 years. He intends to appeal and has actually asked Texas Governor Greg Abbott to shorten his sentence. However, prosecutors are clear, and I quote, "Evidence shows Mr. Lopez took no logical steps to confirm the abuse or otherwise secure Jennifer's safety." And Assistant US Attorney Rick Calvert said there were other avenues Darren could take besides driving across multiple states and murdering someone in cold blood. There is a bit more of a twist, not about Darren unfortunately, but several years later CBS News' 48 Hours programme was creating a documentary on this case, and they discovered this wasn't the first time Jennifer had tried to get a man to kill her husband. In this case, 48 Hours found that when Jennifer was married to a man called Rick Erlab, she tried to push him into killing what was now her ex-first husband. Rick called her the most evil person I've ever been in contact with. After they'd been dated for a while, she told Rick that she'd been emotionally and sexually abused by her husband. Rick was tempted to murder him, but managed to resist and get out of the situation, and Jennifer moved on to Jamie. So that's the weird case of the betrayal of Jamie Faith, and I think we're just going to do this as a nice short starter episode. I hope you've enjoyed this. As I said, this is the first one of this show, which will become a regular thing. We're going to cover all sorts of cases, historical crimes, modern crimes, crimes from around the world. I write a series of books called True Crime Dossiers. They are less chatty than this. They are more focused on getting the facts out there. There's 2 volumes out now. There's a 3rd one coming. And they're all over the world. And it's not just murder, but there's a lot of murder, so that's fine. Anyway, well, I hope you've enjoyed this, and I shall see you next time. Thank you very much.